Good evening. So really hard to make a video when there's not a lot going on. So I suppose I'm just going to talk just for, I don't know, 10 minutes, I suppose, and just give you an update on what happened this week. We'll see. Two of the lads were replacing the tips on the dung spreader. So that's the start, so that's why it's in the workshop. Then we were on one piping job this week, and then the pump stopped working. But in fairness, then they came up. Thinks he had it sorted out, so now we just need another opportunity to go pumping again. But it's getting to the stage where ground conditions are even too wet to do that. We cleaned out an old shed. So this is an old corn roller from the 70s or 80s. So I put that up there, didn't want to throw it out. But anyway. But the main thing, I guess you can't see it from this side, the main thing I want to talk to you about was the 6490. So a lot of you know that my father bought this tractor new in 2005, and it's always been a personal favourite of mine, but it's been given an awful lot of trouble in that when you're using a macerator on the tanker or the floor in the dung spreader, it's locking up the brakes, or even when you're tipping a trailer, it's locking up the brakes. You have to stop, tip fully, let off the lever, then drive forwards. So it hasn't been working quite right. And we've been through a series of process of elimination, trying to sort it out. And it hasn't been solving it. So the first thing is, I suppose, in 2022, right? She was under pressure, and we thought it was the damper plates. So there was a Massey and Fent dealer was going to take our Fent in to do the head gasket, but this tractor stopped. So it stopped moving. So it hit top of priority, and we asked them, is there any chance they take it in instead of the Fent in? And they said they would. So the tractor was down there for 9 weeks. Now I remember giving out about it, and I was getting slagged by Gordon Hegarty's because I was wearing a Gordon Hegarty jacket at the time. But Hegarty's were top notch trying to get us sorted. But anyway, so after 9 weeks, having to drive down nearly once a week to get an update on it because nobody would answer the phone, the tractor finally came back to us. But when it came back, the guy that drove it home said the brakes weren't great. So the mechanic here that does that keeps us afloat, keeps our head above water, bled the brakes, and that seemed to have sorted it. Until we put it on a size trailer, and your man was like, oh, the brakes are locking up on this randomly, what'll I do? So it was a bit like, look, you have a full load, mind yourself, get back to the yard and tip the trailer, and then we will go back to the yard and get you another tractor. So that was grand. But then he was heading to the yard, and he said the brakes stopped working on the trailer, on the tractor, and it was requiring the tractor to stop it. So that was grand. I'm not even sure. We sent it down to, I think it was down to Hegarty's, and they done some stuff with it, replaced some seals, a few bits and pieces, and that was grand. So it didn't lose braking pressure, but it was still locking up randomly. And the reason we discovered this was because we put it on the Keltec, and we thought, okay, the Keltec is only in the field, it's not long draws, it's fine. If we have to disconnect the brakes, we'll disconnect the brakes. And I remember being behind the Keltec with a lad, and we were just driving up the road, and I could see the tractor dying, and I was thinking, geez, this isn't right. And then all of a sudden there was smoke coming everywhere. And it was after locking up on the road. He had pulled no levers, no nothing. They just randomly locked up. So we had to disconnect that. So for the remainder of 2022, this tractor was baling, ploughing, basically anything that didn't require trailer brakes. So then we replaced the priority block. That's what it was, priority block and the brake valve. And this was over winter 2022 to 2023. So that was grand. That sorted the problem, 100%. But it stopped the front suspension working on the tractor. So it was a second-hand block because we couldn't get a new one anymore. So we We're able to finish out the season without putting this tractor on the tanker, and we were using it with trailers and being tipping it at full and then driving force, which we were supposed to do anyway, so it was grand. So then the first thing at the start of this winter, when we all finished up, I said it has to have been the second priority block was on its way out, and then 6 months into the season it stopped working. So I got straight on to Keith Murphy down in Massey Salvage, anyway, in Enniscorthy, and got a new priority block, put it on, sorted the suspension straight away, didn't solve the braking problem. So that was fine. Got back on the heat, we discussed, and we sort of said, right, the next thing to eliminate is the trailer brake valve itself. So that was grand. I bought a new one of them. That was a little bit of a struggle, actually, because apparently they make the same block for a bunch of different series, and you're supposed to blank out a hole if you don't need it, and that was confusing. And it took a good while to try and match up the pipes right, but Tom got there. So we done the trailer brake valve, and we hoped that it sorted. And we went out, spread the first load, grand, and then driving back across the field, your man was folding up the booms on the dribble bar and brakes locked up. So right, so I said, or I was talking to Connor Clark, who does the seed dressing, and he said he uses Martin's in Baileyborough for his Massey Ferguson. And Trevor, one of the mechanics there, used to work in Flins and Mullingar, where Daddy bought this tractor when it was brand new. So I got the number and I rang him, and he said that from his listening to the problem, it could be the master cylinder, which is in here. Oh, this lad right here. So that was grand anyway. So he said what we do is disconnect the pipe that goes to the trailer brake. So basically there's a pipe that sends a small amount of oil down the trailer brake valve, which then engages the trailer brakes. So we done that, put the tanker out spreading slurry on paddocks, around the yard, so it wasn't doing road work, didn't need the trailer brakes anyway, and it was fine. Other than obviously not having any trailer brakes, it spread away perfect. There wasn't any bother at all. It then a neighbour got a loan of it to run the dive feeder, and he didn't get onto us about it, and it done dung spread. So he was after doing all the jobs that was giving bother. So I rang him back up. I said, I think you're right. I think I'm going to be a master cylinder. What do you do now? Trying your way of testing it, and it was kind of a, there's no real way knowing other than we replace it and put it to work. So Tom is after replacing the master cylinder and the accumulator on the tractor. And fingers crossed, I think he has about an hour's work left to do with it Monday. And then it'll be back up and going, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that's it sorted. But there's thousands gone in to try and sort this problem. And the mechanics keep joking with me, and I joke right back that, sell the tractor. But the thing is that this tractor, we sold a 6485, and we didn't get as much as we would have liked for it. So this tractor was worth more to us to keep than to sell. Even the damn tires, look at the grip that's on them, are worth nearly more than the tractor. The 85 was sold with tires with 85, 90% tread on it. And now the tractor's up in quantities. So if we can get it going, it's worth keeping. But getting it going is the problem. There was the thoughts of putting it on the umbilical, but it's not fully set up for GPS, and when I take the GPS off this to put onto the combine, then I wouldn't have it for the autumn, and it'd get messy. So it made sense for it to go into the fence. But anyway, look, I suppose I just bring you along, let you know there's not all just rosy in the garden. This is Dory, but yeah. So this seems to be what we're at the moment. maintenance, upgrading, changing tips, you know. One of the lads was cleaning our shed there the other day. Brought a load of steel into Wilton's, and you know, just that sort of general stuff. Hedge cutting season's over, so delighted to see that over. So you'll see me soon. I'll be changing the 5120 from I think it's on 520s. It goes up to 700s for rolling and all that. So yeah, so look, we're moving through the paces. I think today's the 1st or 2nd of March, so you know, we're getting there. But look, that's a story. It's only just a bit of a ramble tonight, I suppose. But we've adapted the applied concept, or we didn't adapt it. We got hose and made a pipe for blowing down. So after blowing down the 2 balers, they've more boldly just backed in and surrounded by poison. So if it's half dry tomorrow, I'll be pulling them out. Sorry, Monday. If it's half dry Monday, I'll be pulling them out and blowing them down. So maybe we'll get to see that happening. Because we're going to be servicing them ourselves this year. It was one thing when we were sending 1 baler in and it was doing, you know, 14,000 bales a year. But when you have 2 of them doing 6,000 or 7,000 a year, you know, it's hard to justify sending them down to somewhere to be done. So we're going to do it ourselves. But anyway, look, I'll catch you next time. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hope I didn't bore you.